Right, okay. All right then, folks. So let me get this out of the way first of all. We'll get this report done and dusted, and then we can have a chat 20 minutes, half hour afterwards. But obviously the reason you're here is for the reports. So here we go. The first one, on the 9th of March, so last week, I spoke about an aptly named PC, Julian Crimes. A police constable with a surname Crimes. Couldn't make it up. A South Cambridgeshire Police constable. And he was alleged to have breached the standards of professional behaviour, okay, in respect of honesty and integrity, duties and responsibilities, because he gave false evidence at a coroner's court. Okay, he gave false evidence at a coroner's court. And it appears that the reason that he'd done that was to cover his own balls ups, basically. So he lied in coroner's court because he had failed at his job. So he tried to cover it up. So this is PC Julian Crimes. He's also alleged to have failed in his duties when dealing with a missing person. And it was that missing person who then went on to die. Okay, unfortunately. So the lies in the coroner's court are gross misconduct. It's not just a misconduct, it's gross misconduct for lying in court. But failing in your duties and responsibilities when dealing with a missing person is apparently just a slap on the wrist offence. So as a police constable, if you fail in your duties when dealing with a missing person and something happens to them, in this case, the missing person went on to die, then all you get is a slap on the wrist. I mean, how is that even a thing? The misconduct hearing started this week. It started yesterday. So Julian Crimes' misconduct hearing started yesterday. And the misconduct panel heard that he had tried to cover up his piss poor performance, although they didn't say piss poor in court. That's just my saying. After the missing man was found dead. Okay. And he'd done that by giving untrue evidence at an inquest. 23-year-old William Stilwell from Sussex, I believe, was in Fulbourn Hospital near Cambridge on the 16th of November in 2015. And I believe he was in there due to he had some serious mental health issues. Now, the hospital gave PC Crimes information on the patient because he'd done a runner from the hospital. He was there, I believe, for a mental health situation, but he left the hospital. So the hospital told PC Crimes that he was vulnerable. They'd done a risk assessment and he had suicidal tendencies. Okay. And they also gave the police information that the man who died had been found in a hotel in Sussex during a previous disappearance. Crimes went to 2 addresses in Cambridge to try and find Mr. Stilwell, but failed to find him. Then it turns out that Julian Crimes didn't revise his risk assessment on the situation. So what they're supposed to do is they risk assess the situation on the information they're given. If new information comes to light, they have to risk assess the situation for their safety and for the safety of the public, although we know that the safety of the public is always lower on that level of importance. It says that although he didn't revise his risk assessment, he also didn't let the mother know what was going on. He didn't circulate Mr. Stilwell's name on the PNC computer, and he didn't contact Sussex Police or the British Transport Police with any of the new information. So basically he was given information about somebody who was at risk of self-harm, but kept it to himself. Didn't tell anybody else. Between 9:22 p.m. on that date and 9:52 p.m, so for half an hour, PC Crimes spent that time writing what was called a lengthy log entry on the incident. The guy who was missing with mental health issues and was a risk was found dead 30 minutes later. So PC Crimes had new information. He didn't tell anybody. Instead, he went back and he wrote a report. Half hour later, the guy that he was writing a report about was found dead. So it's alleged that PC Crimes realised that he had not performed his duties properly on that date, the 16th of November 2015, or he believed that it would be suggested at the inquest that he had not performed his duties properly, so was seeking to cover up his poor performance. Today is only the second day of the inquest, or rather the misconduct hearing. So all we know at the moment is what has been said, how he was trying to cover up his own failings with regards to the missing person who later went on to die, which is why he lied in court. I will keep you updated on any more information as that comes available this week. But that's PC Julian Crimes from South Cambridgeshire Police. Next, we've got some information on a report I made on the 13th of March. Some of you may remember this. It was a PSNI constable, Drew Cooper. So this was only on Friday, I think it was. PSNI Drew Cooper. You've got to remember the one I'm talking about. He was the one that opened a massage service from his home after leaving the police. Do you remember that one? When he was trying to take women's knickers down? I mean, what? Anyway, since he has been found guilty, so since he was found guilty of that, 2 sexual assaults and also filming another woman with a spy pen while she was doing a private act, as they call it. Don't quite know what that means, but yeah. Well, since that happened, and since PSNI or ex-PSNI Constable Drew Cooper got his 18 months in prison suspended, although he was put on a sex offenders register, more information has come out about his perverted nature. Okay, for example, he was showing his girlfriend crime scene images, which he shouldn't have seen. Okay, private, confidential images and reports about police investigations. He was showing his girlfriend those images, which included graphic pictures, and forgive me if you're from Ireland and I pronounce this wrong, the Masserine barracks murders. He shared sensitive details of murder cases he was involved in, and he even got her to pose in police handcuffs with his PSNI issued service gun held against her head. So ex-PSNI Constable Drew Cooper got his bird handcuffed up, right, and he held his gun to her head and took some pictures. What a sick fuck. Paula Shannon, who was his girlfriend at the time, said that during their relationship, Cooper shared details of the killing of Michael McLaughlin, who was stabbed to death by his best friend Leon Johnston in Castle Dawson in 2010. She says, I can remember sitting with Drew in my house and I read everything that was done about the case. It was very serious, to be honest with you. It was quite a lot to take on. I think it was a power thing. This is what she's saying. She thinks that Drew sharing that information was a power thing. Thank you, Mazarine. I apologise. She also said the case was particularly gruesome as Johnson's sentencing hearing heard how blood was seen gushing from a stab wound to Mr. McLaughlin's chest. So this is the kind of stuff that ex-PSNI Drew Cooper was sharing with his girlfriend. I mean, really? Are you really going to get off over telling your bird, you know, about somebody being stabbed up? I mean, what kind of sicko does that? She goes on to say that Cooper once got her to pose for a video. I apologise, it was a video, not a picture. A video with which Paula wore his handcuffs while he pointed his PSNI issue weapon at her head. She says she was drunk and she can remember it being taken. She can't remember it being taken, but the police have the video, so therefore clearly it was taken. In 2014, Cooper admitted 12 counts of obtaining or disclosing personal data, and he was fined just £3,100. And after leaving the PSNI, he went on to work as a massage therapist. I think that's just a politically correct way of saying a pervert, where he found himself back in court on February this year, where he pled guilty to 2 counts of sexual assault against one woman and a further count of recording a second woman doing a private act without her consent. And remember, this guy got a suspended sentence for doing this. Unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely ridiculous. These kind of people are working in our police forces. These kind of people are the people that we have to go to when we have problems. Do you know what I mean? How can you have trust or faith in people that are going to do this kind of stuff? Now, also another update in PAP Reports on the 21st of January, we met Special Sergeant Ross Colman. Now, Ross Colman was spared jail. He didn't go to jail when he was at Leicester Crown Court, even though he was found in possession of 80 indecent images of children. Okay, so this is a special sergeant who was found in possession of 80 indecent images of children, 45 of which, so over half of those images, were category A. She is snoring. It's a little bit louder today than it normally is because she's not been well. She was throwing up earlier, and for some reason that makes her snore a little bit louder. So please forgive me for that. I do apologise. Now, the images that Ross Colman had showed abuse of children, of girls as young as 4 years old. And he had been downloading those images over a 2-year period. So it wasn't a spur of the moment thing. It wasn't a blip, right? It was a prolonged thing that he was doing. However, Colman was only given 1 year prison sentence, but that was suspended for 18 months for being a pedo. Congratulations, police. You're really, really showing people how harshly you deal with criminals. Well done. Tomorrow, the 18th of March, which is Wednesday. Is it Wednesday tomorrow? Yeah, Wednesday. So tomorrow is a fast track gross misconduct hearing, and that will take place. Although I can't really see why they're bothering, because he's already left. So even if they find him guilty of gross misconduct, they will do nothing about it because he's no longer working in the police. So what is the point of spending time and money? Because that's what it is. They're spending taxpayers' money and they're wasting their time doing a misconduct case for somebody who's going to get no punishment for it. What is the point in that? At the initial Crown Court hearing, Colman's brief told the court that he had since been to his GP to fight his demons, right, and his addiction to child abuse images. So he stated in court that he had an addiction to child abuse images. I've said child abuse images that many times now. This video is well demonetized now. But even though he says he had an addiction, the police have let him off. Suspended sentence, okay? Or the courts have let him off, suspended sentence. And that was the reason the judge said that she was not locking him up was because he said he'd been to his GP, okay? And no, for any pedos watching this live stream, and I'm hoping that there isn't any, it doesn't mean that you're going to get let off, right? Just because somebody's been let off for saying that, you know, I understand I've got a problem and I'm working to fix my addiction with, you know, child abuse. Because if we find out who you are, or the general public find out who you are and where you are, you certainly won't be getting away with zero punishment. Absolutely disgusting. And yet again, the kind of punishment that strikes fear into the heart of these sickos. Next, we have this is a good one. This is a former Police Federation chairman, right? This is a Police Federation chairman, Sergeant James Risby from Northamptonshire Police, We've spoke a lot about Northamptonshire Police recently. They're quite popular in these PAP reports. Risby has been found guilty of gross misconduct after his misconduct hearing on Friday gone. It was heard that Risby had been found to have sent 170 flirtatious, persistent and inappropriately personal messages, and to have engaged in intimate and sexual activity with a woman whose complaint he was handling. So basically, a woman's gone to the police, she's made a complaint, police have told Sergeant James Risby that he is the officer in charge of that case, and he thought it would be okay to send flirtatious and inappropriately personal messages to her. Sounds like he was handling far more than her complaint. Risby also messaged the woman asking her to send photographs of her underwear. I mean, if you want to look at underwear, Risby, go and get yourself a Grattan catalogue. Yeah, they're free. You can just phone up and they'll deliver one to your house, right? And you can pull yourself off to your heart's content over the lingerie pages in a catalogue. Why would you ask a woman for pictures of her underwear? The misconduct panel heard that he sent 170 messages from WhatsApp on his personal mobile device with the intent of starting a relationship with her. Liz Briggs, who was there representing the force, said that Risby sent repeated requests for photographs or descriptions of underwear that she was wearing or purchasing. They met at a Federation Lodge. They met at a Federation Lodge. Now, if that hasn't got Masons written all over it, I don't know what has. So they met at a Federation Lodge where they both confirmed that they had been kissing and fondling each other. Risby was also accused of failing to report that the woman had told him she'd been the victim of domestic abuse. Okay, so, so John, pack it in, I'm trying to be serious here. So basically the woman told this constable Risby that she had been a victim of domestic abuse, and he failed to do anything about it. He failed to report it. Instead, what he'd done is he asked her not to mention him if she reported her domestic abuse. He admits having had intimate contact with the woman and that she told him about issues relating to domestic abuse, but he says it was in a historical context, not of a present day context. The chairwoman, Jane Jones, said that had he not already left, he would have been dismissed. So yet again, another police constable or sergeant in this case walks away from any punishment. Walks away from punishment. So that's three. Is that three that I've just read out where they've all got suspended sentences or not suspended, sorry, where they've all had a gross misconduct hearing, and because they've left prior to that hearing, they get no punishment from the force themselves. I've said this before, and I know some people disagree with me. But you know, in Australia, if we've got any Australians on, you'll probably be able to clarify this if you can. But in Australia, if the police get thrown out of the force for gross misconduct, they lose their pension. Now, some people have said to me that's not fair because they're paying into their pension. What I say to that is that there are two elements to pensions. You pay in, okay, and your workplace pays in, okay? If somebody gets sacked for gross misconduct in a public office, personally, I think that the element of pension that the workplace has paid in should be taken out. They should forfeit that. So they get the money that they've paid in, but the money that their workers paid in should be forfeited, in my opinion. But there we go. Next up, we have another gross misconduct hearing. This is all about misconduct hearings. This is crazy. And this is a misconduct hearing outcome for another former PC, Ian Simons, from the Metropolitan Police's North East Basic Command Unit. Daisy, your snoring is interrupting my live stream. Would you mind? Thank you. That won't last. Ex-PC Ian Simons was found to have breached the standards of professional behaviour in respect of honesty and integrity, authority, respect and courtesy, and discreditable conduct. Full house, fair play. If you're going to do it, you might as well go all out and get it done for all of it. The hearing was heard today, the 17th of March 2019, and found that whilst PC Simons, or former PC Simons, was off duty on the 13th of October 2017, he drove his car into a private car park and hit another vehicle, causing damage. It was also reported that when other police turned up to the incident, he became verbally abusive and disrespectful to other police constables. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, police constables. If you can't take a little bit of language thrown at you, then you shouldn't be in the job. Now, had this shitbag not resigned in November of last year, he would have been given his P45 as well. So just like former Police Federation Chairman Sergeant James Risby, who I just spoke about, PC Ian Simons also gets away with his breaches from the police themselves. And this, people, is why there is so little corruption in the police, with such harsh such harsh punishments in the police force for these misconducts. It's you can see why there is such a small amount of corruption in our wonderful, great British police force. Can you believe I said all of that with a straight face? It's crazy. A big thank you if you sent me a link, and a big thank you to the Patreon supporters, Motty Lad, Holly, Adi and Dave, whose support is helping me to continue providing you this daily content. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other public officials.
Good night, all.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like the content and you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so. In the description of every video there are some links to ways that you're able to help support the channel so I can continue putting out content. If you're unable to help us in that way, hit that subscribe button up the top there. If you haven't already, become a subscriber. That is support enough. Share the videos, comment, like, it all helps. If you're looking for something else to watch, up top there is my latest video. Down the bottom there is a video that YouTube recommends for you.